I'm back. Let's start the Not So Live feed. That's right, the bitch is back. Except I'm not a bitch, I'm a man. And this is the Not So Live feed. I am, of course, your host, Dan, at least on paper. It's been a little bit, you know, you got a little comfortable without me around, so we're gonna brighten your mood as we try to start the show with this. This! Let's do what we came to do. Let's start with some video game news, you know? That's how we roll. Video game news! We're gonna start off with everyone's favorite EA, and, well, this is gonna be an EA-centric show for, we're gonna start with this, yeah! EA, who last time we spoke of them, we talked about they closed out Visceral Games, makers of Dead Space, one of my favorite franchises, and what are they doing now? Well, they're buying Respawn to make more Titanfall. Yay. I don't get it, but, you know, that's not the dumbest thing EA is doing. Let's talk about the dumbest thing they're doing right now. Let's talk about Star Wars. Yeah, Star Wars. Battlefront 2, in particular. So, playing mobile games and other games. I play Orcs Must Die. I've done some videos of that. I've played The Walking Dead on my phone, but EA is now having to do some backtracking on their idea for loot boxes. And essentially, if you don't know what loot boxes are, that's a way to pay to win. And it's really not sitting right with a lot of people. And yeah, even Call of Duty, the new go back up. Thank you. Even the new Call of Duty World at War has a concept of loot boxes, but they have other issues that we're not talking about too much. Patches, server issues, that's a whole different story. But EA is really having to rethink their microtransactions, and that's one that hurts. Everybody hates microtransactions, so I haven't played the new Star Wars game. The first one was pretty, it's just online only after a while. It sucks, so here's hoping that they know what they're doing. But yeah, that's gonna do it, I think, this week. Yeah, that's gonna do it for video game news. It's just EA. It's just EA and their dumb decisions. So we got some movie news. We got a lot of movie news to cover, so let's talk about that. All right, in movie news, we have a few things we're going to talk about. Well, we did just talk about Star Wars and how EA's, you know, destroying everything good, but let's talk more about the mouse in the house. Oh, hang on. Let's get a bigger picture. There we go. That one's a little bit better. And yes, that is Jar Jar Binks as a Jedi or Sith, or doesn't matter. It's funny. So apparently, there's like a revolt with some theaters refusing to play the new Star Wars movie coming out next month because of Disney's demands. They want, I believe it's a 60% cut of the tickets. They're demanding it's played on the largest screen that they have. On top of that, they're saying it has to run for a minimum of like a 4-week cycle. And there was even an article that came out about I'm from Minnesota, a small theater in Iowa that will not be playing Star Wars at all. Mainly because they are just a little, you know, small theater. I believe it was only a 1-screen theater, and they just cannot dedicate 1 month to one movie, just to Star Wars. So, I already talked, I think, a while back about how the latest trailer for The Last Jedi, it didn't impress me. Like, I'll probably see this movie. I really don't care. Like, I like Star Wars. There's no denying that. I have Star Wars things, so I have a drawer of lightsabers and other stuff and things. Yeah, that's not the argument here. It's just like, you know, Disney, that little mouse is causing a lot of damage, and there's even the talks. We'll get into that too. Why not? That Disney wants to buy Fox, and if they do that, you know, with owning Marvel already. If they get a hold of Fox's Marvel distribution rights, that would be interesting. So that's something that might happen. But that mouse is just taking too much control. Somebody's got to do something about that mouse. We talked Marvel, didn't we? We talked Fox. So hey, let's segue into Deadpool. We got a new trailer for Deadpool 2, and it's awesome. We have a little Bob Ross spoof in it. They show little snidbits. We got to see uh, Mega Sonic Teenage Warhead, or Nega, is it Mega? Mega, yeah. We got to see a quick glimpse. She's back. There's just, yeah, Deadpool. We need more Deadpool. Can't wait for the sequel to come out. Looks good. The trailer was awesome. Definitely go check it out. Deadpool. One last thing to talk about, since we're talking movie news. Another trailer came out I would say out of nowhere, except for the fact that we knew about this a while ago, but we finally got to see. This is a little screenshot from the set of our first glimpse for the trailer for Rampage, starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Now, over there, can't see it, it's out of shot. I have a poster that was signed by two of the original creators from the video game Rampage, and this movie is loosely based on that. We get Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson being like a zookeeper to a monkey who gets exposed to something and he starts growing, and then there's a giant wolf, and at the end of the trailer, spoilers, there's a giant crocodile. So we get the original trio back. Ralph, is it Iggy? Oh, I can't think of it. I know it's Ralph. I just watched the trailer too and I can't even think what they named the monkey. Whatever. Go back up there. Another little tidbit from this trailer is, I should have used that shot, but that would have been more of a spoiler. Spoilers! Jeffrey Dean Morgan get the fuck back up there, is in this trailer as well. And he seems, that's gonna fall, but I'm just gonna adjust here. We're adjusting. Are you gonna go back up? Are you gonna stay? You gonna think about staying? Alright. We get Jeffrey Dean Morgan as apparently like a bigwig guy who kind of knows what's going on, but it's so hard to like see him talk and just not think Negan. But I'll still probably see the movie. It looks entertaining. I don't expect it to be amazing. Visually, it should be alright. It's being done by the same guys who did San Andreas, but I didn't bother seeing that because the story sounded dumb. So, but yeah, definitely check that trailer out. It's gonna do it for movie news. But three stories to cover. Where to begin, where to start? Let's start with the one that I frankly care less about. In news about superstars being let go here and there, it's been reported that Emma has been let go from the WWE. Now, she had a match at the TLC pay-per-view that I got to go see against the debuting, and I'm going to butcher her name, like, Asaka, her name, the one who's going to kill everybody, who's undefeated, so on. And they gave the match to her, and she got squashed. She had a rematch on the following Raw. She got squashed again. And, like, after her she was like reinvented and then reinvented again. Her character I just thought was going nowhere, and well, she's gone. So man, all right. Interesting that they wasted the debut of a huge diva wrestler on her, but whatever. That's what it was. In other wrestling news, there is more. This one's an oldie but a goodie. We're still going to talk about it. At a pay-per-view, not a pay-per-view, at a house show down in South America, during Roman Reigns' hiatus, illness at the time, Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins needed a partner. Now, we got Kurt Angle at the pay-per-view. Now, who did they get to team with them at this house show? He said desperate times call for desperate measures, and I guess so. They got Triple H. The King teamed with the King Slayer. The highlights were really good, so no arguments there, but it was really weird. Like, it was a weird thing, so definitely check it out. They have the clip on their YouTube channel, so go look at it. It's entertaining. And finally, wrestling news, we're going to talk one last thing. We're going to talk Survivor Series. That's coming up this Sunday. There's a lot of weirdness going on. We're going to get down to it real quick here. As you can see, Jinder Mahal is no longer the SmackDown WWE champion. AJ Styles is now the champion, so we are now getting Brock Lesnar versus AJ Styles. Now, I will say that's a good thing, because if it was Lesnar versus Jinder and somehow they let Jinder beat Brock Lesnar, that would just destroy Brock Lesnar's credibility. I'm sorry, he's still a member of the three-man band. I never took Jinder Mahal seriously as a champion. It's just no. Now we get AJ Styles, who is one of the more technical wrestlers out there, one of the best moves. It's going to be a very interesting match to watch. On top of that, we have Team Raw, even though it's kind of cut a little bit up here, versus Team SmackDown, with Kurt Angle and Shane McMahon. And I don't think John Cena's in it. Ignore it. This is just a good picture. But they're the captains. And it was announced last week on Raw that Triple H is the 5th member of Team Raw. So I want to just leave it on this with all these like interpromotional matches, the New Day versus the Shield, Raw versus SmackDown. It's going to come down to one of two things. It's going to come down to either just Shane McMahon and Kurt Angle, and we'll get a rematch of their classic that they had, I think it was King of the Ring years and years ago, which was insane. Or somehow, and I'm kind of hoping it comes down to this just because of what they're doing storyline-wise, it's going to come down to Triple H costing the match, being like the one that makes Team Raw lose. And then we'll see what Stephanie's got to say, because will she fire Kurt Angle when Triple H is the reason they lost, or so on and so forth. But either way, should be an interesting Survivor Series coming up this Sunday. It's going to do it for the Wrestling 3 Count. Stay tuned. Got a review coming at you next. Like right now. Right now. Just got to get rid of this ref shirt. Wasn't that fun? So, we're gonna this shouldn't be too long, but hey, let's talk Jigsaw. Yeah, it came out a couple weeks ago, but I also took a couple weeks off. And it's the most recent thing I have to review, because I'm still just getting started on The Evil Within. Maybe next week we'll do that. Plus maybe a Thor review. I'm gonna see that like a week and a half later. Maybe I'll throw... Next week could be a heavy review week, but this week, Jigsaw. So, Jigsaw. It was good. I liked it. It was very interesting. We're going to try to stay away from spoilers for a moment here, but we'll see. The games are beginning again. 10 years... It takes place 10 years after John Kramer, the Jigsaw Killer, has died. Which, if you remember from a few movies ago, he got like his throat cut by a big saw blade by the one dude, and then there's an autopsy. I can't pronounce that word. So he did. But now the games are beginning again. So it's a question of like, who, why, what? We find ourselves with a few people kind of running a series of games. I'm trying to avoid some spoilers, because there are some big spoilers like that I could dive into, and I'm avoiding them. If you've seen it, you know what I mean. But like, in terms of a movie, in terms of like the traps, this is me thinking. Okay, we're gonna not say spoilers, but okay. First trap, eh. Second trap, dumb. Third trap, eh. There was one trap that was really cool and it had to suck. If you haven't figured out, people die in this movie. But in traditional Saw fashion, we'll kind of leave it here. Like, I know I'm being vague, but there's... In the world of the Saw movies, like, I don't see them because I care about the story. I see them because I'm like, oh, traps. These are... How is this going to happen? What's going to happen? It's almost like Rube Goldberg machines at times. It's just weird of what's going to happen and why. But this movie does tie some stuff in together. It kind of sheds some light on some of the previous movies, like why, how, certain things, and the end. I'm gonna say a spoiler real soon, but the last few minutes of it are really good. Like, it's just how it's tying all these people together. There was one Saw movie a few back where it's like all these people are, linked for certain reasons. This has that. This has a lot of like why these people, but at the same time they're not linked to each other as much as they're linked to something else and someone else. But I'm gonna end it with this before I say a final thought. Small spoiler, maybe not. It all depends on how you view it, but you've been warned. I love the cameo by the Demigorgon. If you know what I mean when I'm saying that, then yeah. That was the only part of the movie that like was kind of dumb, just because of the CG. Like, I get it, you can't really do that, but come on. Like, I don't... CG can be overused, and I think it was here, but I digress. We'll leave that thought. Overall, I enjoyed this movie. I saw it on Halloween, so obviously that shows you how long ago I saw it and how old this review is, but I definitely enjoyed it. It actually had more substance than just like, here's a trap, you're dead, here's a trap, you're dead. Like, it felt like there was something else going on, so I recommend seeing it. That's the review. So we're gonna leave it. We're gonna leave it at that, and with that, we are gonna end the show. Yeah, I know it's been a little bit, but you know, I appreciate you taking the time out of your day. Hopefully this didn't run super long. We'll find that out in editing. But until next time, there will be a next time. Until the next video, there will be a next video. I'll see you then. Have yourself a good night. Thing you saw all that, yeah. All right, we're gonna talk spoilers now. This is how some of these reviews are gonna go. If you got past all that, spoilers. The Saw movie itself takes place 10 years after the events of the first one. All right, you with me so far? John Kramer is dead. You still with me? The first trap starts out with 5 people. Pretty much every trap is kind of designed one by one. They go away. People die. Now, the very first trap with the saw blades, you might have seen that in the trailer. Of course, one guy's kind of unconscious. Guess what? He's bye-bye. Or is he? We'll talk about that in a second. Now, as we dwindle down people person by person, every person that is in this movie, they're tied to John Kramer in one way or another. One guy that ends up getting it sold his nephew pretty much a shitty motorcycle that had bad brakes. Nephew died. He had it coming. One of the people that end up dying, well, one of the people, we'll phrase it that, misdiagnosed or like labeled the wrong x-ray that would have helped show his cancer sooner. That's why he had it. But, you know, mistakes happen. We're going to get to that. By the end of the movie, there's 2 people. There's one guy who I can't 100% like determine why he's truly involved in this. He's just around. Then there's the girl who was a neighbor of John Kramer, who's in it because she smothered her baby and blamed it on her husband. And then he went to like jail, prison, psychiatric ward, killed himself. Now, with these 2 people left in the room, it's one of those, somebody shows up, takes off the pig mask, and it's John Kramer. It's, you know, Jigsaw. So now the question is, all right, what? He's been dead. How is this happening? And then it's revealed that what's happening, what you see in the movie with the, like, there's 2 different timelines going on. The traps, as you see them, took place 10 years ago. It was actually the first game that they ever ran. Now, the first of the 5 people that gets it with the saws doesn't actually die, and John pretty much helps him, and he becomes a protege. He more or less is the guy who misdiagnosed, put the wrong x-ray thingy up, and he doesn't really think he deserves to die for his mistake, and he kind of redeems himself. By the end of the movie, we get that guy who is now one of the morgue autopsy people, coroner, there's the term, and he's actually been the one setting up a lot of this stuff and trying to make it look like stuff from, ignore that, stuff from 10 years ago is going on now, and like it's a weird kind of mix mosh, and like who's doing who's framing what. There's the trap with the lasers, and then it slices his head up and there's blood, but it's actually fake. It was just designed to make the other guy who's the cop to be like, oh, haha, blah, but then he gets the lasers. Is that like, they make you think John Kramer is like, oh, how is it? But he's actually dead. He is dead. Unless they make another movie and they decide to like retcon this or whatever. But it's really good. I enjoyed it. Like, there's a lot of intriguing stuff going on with like a game. You're seeing bits of a game from 10 years ago, not knowing it was that long ago, or even more than that, because it was the very first game. And then you're seeing the real-time stuff going on where they're like linking it together, finding people, and it's really weird. But if you see the movie, you know what I mean. Go see it. We're leaving it at that. Bye bye.